The air was heavy with a silence that felt alive, a silence that pressed against the ears and crawled into the skin. The clan, their faces carrying the raw contours of an earlier kind of human, sat close together for warmth, their dark eyes scanning the fading night. They had no words for what hunted them, only instincts, the same instincts that made them wake in the deep hours, feeling the unseen gaze from the shadows. The tall grass swayed slightly, though no wind moved it. Somewhere in that swaying, death was waiting, cloaked in tawny fur and armed with teeth longer than a man's fingers. It was a master of stillness. Every muscle was a coiled spring, every breath measured. Its fangs, the tools of its reign, gleamed faintly as dawn's light kissed them. The clan was only a dozen paces away now, but they did not yet see the shadow in the grass. The saber-tooth's heartbeat was a slow drum inside its chest, its body attuned to the moment when stillness would break into chaos. A shiver passed through the air, too subtle for most to notice, but one young hunter felt it. His head turned slowly, his nostrils flaring as he caught a scent that didn't belong to the wind. The flicker of fear lit his eyes for an instant, but he dared not rise or shout. Somewhere close, so close, a predator watched. The saber-tooth stopped in its advance, sinking lower into the grass, invisible but for the faint ripple of its shoulders beneath the blades. Predators knew the weak before the weak knew themselves. The saber-tooth's gaze narrowed, focusing on the smallest figure, a child, her round, primitive face lit by the dying fire. She clutched a rough stone, more for comfort than for defense. In the predator's mind, the hunt was already over. The rush, the leap, the scream, all of it was moments away. The world broke open in an instant. One heartbeat it was quiet, the next it was teeth, claws, and raw force tearing through the grass. The saber-tooth's leap was silent until the final moment, when the rush of air around its body became a roar in the ears of its prey. The clan scattered in chaos, their faces wide-eyed and twisted with the terror of a species still new to survival. Fire was the only weapon that could make even a king of predators pause. The two hunters moved without thought, driven by the raw instinct to protect. They thrust the burning ends toward the beast, shouting, the light dancing off their coarse features. The saber-tooth snarled, its lips curling back to reveal the full length of its terrible fangs. It was not a retreat. It was patience. The predator circled, its paws soundless on the earth, tail slicing the air behind it. The clan moved backward toward the safety of stone, their eyes darting, breath quickening. They knew this was no simple chase, it was a contest of will and endurance, and the night was far from over. The stone flew with desperate force, spinning through the cold morning air until it struck flesh. A thud, then a deep growl that vibrated in the bones of every living thing nearby. The saber-tooth turned sharply, its golden eyes now molten with rage. Its lips peeled back farther, revealing fangs that caught the light like curved blades of ivory. It was no longer a hunt, it was personal. It came like a storm unleashed, the pounding of massive paws, the tearing of earth, the rush of muscle and fury. The clan ran, their primitive faces twisted in fear, limbs moving with a wild, uneven speed. Stone scraped against skin as they clambered onto the rocks, hearts slamming against their ribs. But they all knew, rock could not save them forever. From above, the hunter's breath clouded in the chill air. His hands trembled, not from the cold, but from the knowledge that one wrong move meant death. The spear was crude but deadly in the right moment, and if that moment came, he would have only one chance. Below, the saber-tooth paced, tail swaying in slow arcs, eyes never leaving the prey above. The beast lunged without warning, a blur of fur and muscle that struck the rock like thunder. Claws screeched against stone, sending shards flying. The hunters staggered backward, the shock of the attack rattling their bones. For a moment, the predator hung there, halfway up, its breath hot and foul as it snarled through bared fangs, then it dropped back, ready to try again. She pressed her back into the cold stone, clutching the charm her mother had given her, its smooth edges worn by years of touch. Her breath came in shallow bursts, each one a battle to keep silent. The saber-tooth moved close, its shadow spilling over the ground. She could hear its breath, heavy, steady, the sound of a hunter who knows time is on its side. Fire roared where it struck the earth, smoke curling upward in twisting spirals. The saber-tooth's eyes narrowed, and it stepped back, the heat licking at its fur. The clan shouted, their voices sharp and frantic, trying to drive it farther away. But the predator did not flee, it paced just beyond the reach of the flames, waiting for the fire to die. The light bled away slowly, painting the land in deep blues and blacks. The saber-tooth became a ghost, a shifting shadow at the edge of vision. The clan huddled together on the rocks, their faces drawn with exhaustion, knowing the night would be long. Every rustle in the grass made their hearts jump. The predator was still there, watching, waiting. Moonlight silvered the predator's fur, turning its form into something almost unreal. The cold bit deep, and frost spread like white veins across the stone. The clan's breath came out in thick clouds, teeth chattering, but no one dared to sleep. Down below, the Saber-Tooth's glowing eyes were the only constant in the darkness, two golden flames in the night. Desperation drove him. The fire above was almost gone, its warmth fading into the bitter cold. He moved quietly, torch in hand, each step slow and deliberate. Every muscle in his body screamed to hurry, but he knew haste would draw attention. Somewhere in the darkness, the predator's ears caught the sound of stones shifting underfoot. A sudden roar split the night, and the world became teeth and claws once more. The young hunter lunged upward, fingers clawing at the rock, as the saber-toothed paw swept through the space where he had stood. Stone tore his skin, but pain meant nothing, survival meant everything. The beast hit the base of the rock hard, sending a shudder through the stone. Spear after spear rained down, some striking earth, others sinking into muscle. Each hit drew a roar that shook the cold air, a sound of rage and pain mingled. The predator moved back, snarling, its tail lashing violently. Yet it did not retreat far, the hunger in its belly was stronger than the wounds on its body. The world vanished into white. Shapes dissolved, sounds dulled, and the air grew damp against the skin. The clan leaned forward, peering into the fog, every sense sharpened. Somewhere below, something moved, slow, deliberate steps crunching the frosted ground. They could not see it, but they felt its presence as surely as they felt the cold. The fog parted just enough to reveal the shadow, massive, deliberate, unstoppable. Its head hung low, shoulders rolling with each step. Those glowing eyes cut through the mist like embers in a dying fire. The hunters gripped their weapons tighter, knowing that the next attack could come without warning. The cry was sharp, breaking through the stillness like the crack of dry wood. The saber-tooth's head snapped toward the sound, ears forward, muscles tensing. In that moment, it forgot the rest of the prey, all focus locked on the one who had stumbled. The hunters knew they had only seconds before it struck. They moved as one with fire, one with flint. The torch swept through the air, a wave of heat and light that made the predator recoil. The spear followed, driving forward with every ounce of strength the hunter had. It struck deep, drawing a roar that tore through the night like a storm wind. The blow was like being struck by a tree in motion. The hunter flew backward, the air leaving his lungs in a single, brutal gasp. He hit the rocks hard, the sound echoing in the cold air. Blood marked the stone, but he forced himself to rise, knowing that if he stayed down, the predator would finish him. They advanced in a tight line, the glow of fire casting their primitive faces in fierce relief. Each thrust of a spear, each sweep of flame, pushed the predator back step by step. The saber-tooth's eyes flicked between them and the dark drop behind it, its instincts warring between fight and flight. The roar was a sound of rage, pain, and unwilling surrender. The ground crumbled beneath the beast's paws, and it vanished into the black void below. Silence fell, broken only by the clan's ragged breathing. They stood together at the cliff's edge, faces lit by the fading glow of their torches. They had survived the night, but they all knew, deep in their bones, that the wild would come for them again.